So I just loaded this load of ash up into the truck. It's going to a customer that buys like 3 times a year, and he wants it delivered at the end of the day. So it's going to be dark when I get there. So there's a good chance I won't even record this when I unload it, because I unloaded it on the side of his garage and there's no light there from what I remember. But I did this because right now it's about 33 degrees and it's been cloudy all morning here. It's, I don't know, it's like 8:30 in the morning. And I got it loaded up now because the sun is supposed to come out. We got blue sky coming in. It's supposed to get to 45 to 50 degrees today once the sun comes out. And because everything is dirt here, it turns to pudding real fast. And I don't want to tear it all up and make a big mess. So I try to come a lot of times and do these loadings in the morning. And a lot of times what I'll do, and you've probably seen this in the videos, I will load up my trailer, my little one, with whatever amount I need for that for the day. I'll load up my big trailer for whatever amount I need for that. And I'll load up my truck, and I get like 2 or 3 deliveries ready to go in the morning. And sometimes I do it the night before if the ground is hard. But lately it's been getting, freezing at night. So the ground is nice and hard early in the morning, but then the sun comes out, it warms up. We're at the time of the year where you get, it's the muddy season, you get that freeze thaw cycle. So it ends up being a mess, and I don't want to make a big mess. I want to keep things, as decent as possible without rutting everything up and getting stuck and all that. So I load a lot of these loads up before I need them, which is a good way to do it, if you can do that. And I don't even mind driving around for a day or two with a load. If I'm just going back and forth from my house to my business to work, I don't mind if I got a load in there, if I can get it done ahead of time so I'm ready to go when the people want it. Now, this is a customer that is 30 miles away or so, which is why I didn't use the little baby dumper. He said, bring me however much you can put into your truck. And he says, I'll pay you extra. So I didn't stack it, as you saw, because stacking is extra handling, which is stupid, because the more times you touch it, the more money you lose, because you lose time, and time is the most valuable thing we have. So I'm going to touch it as little as possible. So I threw it in loose, but I heaped it up as much as I could. So there's going to be more than 1/3 of a quarter face cord here. He said, just bring me whatever extra you can fit in. And I didn't want to stack it because I want to spend an extra 20 minutes stacking wood when I can just throw it in and be done. And a little bit extra I'm going to get is not that big a deal. So I'll probably charge him, normally it's 130 for a face cord, so I'll probably just tell him 140 bucks and we're good, plus the delivery fee, which is going to be $45. And like I said, it's going to be end of the day. And you may have noticed that I have not been doing as many deliveries lately. I've been doing processing over at my dad's property or my brother's property or up at my brother Ken's. And I've been doing that because the deliveries have gone downhill pretty fast. I was right up until we had the last cold and the snow we had, I was delivering 2-3 loads every day. And I did that for it seemed like months. It was just steady. But now we've been getting some warmer days and the deliveries have really tapered off, because I know I've personally delivered to a lot of people that normally would not have bought as much wood as they have. And I know, talking with people that have YouTube channels that I've talked with back and forth, and talking with some of you on the channel and comments, they said their sales did fantastic all year. Everybody, not everybody, many people were selling out of wood, and many people were delivering more wood than they had in the past. One guy in particular, I was texting back and forth, and he said he sold more wood this year than he did the previous 3 years combined. And he said he's been selling wood for 20 years. So he said he ran out of wood first time ever. He said usually you have stuff left over. One guy in particular told me that he sells just a little bit of wood on the side, and he had to go into his personal stash to sell some of that wood because he had customers that were out of wood and they heat with wood and they needed wood, and he didn't want to lose them as a customer. So he took some of his personal wood, which he was kind of saving for next year, but he'll be able to get it cut and ready to go for next year. So he really didn't want to sell it, but he had that ability because he had extra wood, which is one of the things that a lot of people don't think of. When you're selling wood, you don't know what the winter's going to be like ahead of time unless you're, Nostradamus or God. You're not going to know what the weather's going to be. So more, like I always say, is the right amount. You always want to have a little bit of extra and some cushion. And this year I've sold a lot, which is great because I got to move it regardless. So I've sold about 3/4 of what I had available. That's what I sold, which is great. And now that we're into the spring, the muddy season, we're going to have people that once they get outside and start doing some yard work where they're raking their yards, cleaning things up, getting their outdoor entertainment area ready to go for the summer, as far as stocking it with wood or making sure their chairs are out and cleaning everything up from winter, that's when I start getting more summertime orders, which is for me, I usually, the month of March, which we're in right now, for you it might already be April, but for me it's March right now. March is a very slow month as far as sales. The only time I get it is when people that heat with wood that I sell to run out of wood and they need another face cord, or third of a cord, or full cord, and I'll deliver it. But the majority of people are like, oh, I got enough, and if I run out, I'll get some more, you know, once the weather turns nice for burning outside. But then once we get into May in particular, May is the month when a lot of people start working their gardens and really being outside a lot because the weather's nicer later in the day. They got longer daylight hours, so they're outside more having campfires. May, it starts taking off again. So March and April are kind of the slowest months. Plus it's the muddy season, so people aren't really outside doing a lot. But you get to May, that's when they start being outside, and that's when my sales will pick up again. It's not like in the fall where you're getting people that are heating with wood that are buying a lot, but you got a lot of people burning outside in their fire pits, going camping, stocking up that kind of stuff when they get their yard kind of ready to go for entertaining for the year. And they realize they need more wood and people will order more. A lot of people that I sell to on a regular basis will call me a month ahead. And they will, or they'll text me and say, hey Chris, I'm gonna need wood in about a month. Let me know when you're ready to deliver it. I need 2 face cords for this summer and I want half pine and half mixed hardwood, or they want half oak, half cherry, because they do smoking of meat. So they're kind of like pre-placing their orders, which is awesome for me because then I just make a list of their names, you know, their address, phone number, what they want, and I let them know on the text or a call, and I tell them, yep, that sounds great. I am gonna give you a call back in 4 weeks. I'll call you like the week of the 2nd or whatever it is, you know, the next month, and we'll get a time scheduled that's good for both of us. And just so you kind of stay that contact. So then I pick it up, you know, in the early part of the summer, sales are really good. And then it kind of tapers off the middle of the summer. And then when you get to the end of summer, they're out of wood and they realize that their summer's not over yet. And so then again, like in August, I'll sell a bunch more wood and then it tapers off again. And then you get to September, that's when you get that first frost, the first few cold nights, and people are like, oh, winter's coming, we got to stock up. And that's when they really start ordering. The heating people are the first ones that call. They're the first ones that will call and say, hey, I'm going to need 3 full cords this year. When can you deliver it? I'm ready this weekend or next week. The people that are burning for fun in the fireplace are like, hey, we're going to need wood for this winter. Can you bring us the third of a cord, face cord? So it picks up a lot. And then all through September, the end of September, it gets busy. October is really busy. That's like the busiest month. And then November is still busy. And then it tapers off a little bit. And then around Christmas time, I get a bunch more. And then once we get into January and February, I get the reorders. And that is almost as busy as it is in the fall because people that I sell to don't want to stock a lot of wood. They only want a third of a cord or 2/3 of a cord or maybe a full cord. And when they get down to where it's, you know, 3/4 of the way gone, they're like, hey, we need some more wood because winter's not over. And they'll get a hold of me and say, can you bring me some more? So that's kind of how it works. So it's seasonal, but yet it's steady, but it's like a roller coaster is what I like to refer to it as. You got lots of hills and valleys kind of up and down, but then obviously there's that big, you know, you're climbing up that big hill, and then once you get all those orders filled, then you go down and the sales slow down like it's happening right now. So I don't know if that's common for you guys, but I'd be interested to know where you're at, how much you sell, and what your season of selling is. Because obviously you're in the South, you're probably not selling as much heating wood, maybe some, but I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of entertainment wood that you're selling stuff like this, where people are just burning for fun, not to survive, which is most of my customers. It's probably a good 80 to 90% of my customers, they're burning for fun, which is why they're willing to pay for more, because the people will pay more for fun. People that are heating with wood do it to save money. There's a big difference between those customers. And a lot of people that I talk to on the channel have a very hard time comprehending that, because in their mind, all wood is heating wood. Because they've burned wood their whole life, they heat their house with wood, and that's just what they do. And so they think everybody does, but no, that's not the case. Most people that I sell to, they're burning money, which I am perfectly happy with, as long as I get the money out of their hand and put it in my pocket before they burn it up. They can burn it up right here. So that is the case. So we're going to deliver this later today. You might see it, you might not. But what I'm going to do right now is we're going to go tear apart some bins. It's a nice day. Now the sun is coming out. I'm going to get this parked over on the gravel over there so I get off of the the melting mud, and so I can take off. I'll probably work for a couple hours. It's going to warm up really nice. And I'm going to take some bins apart because they're all starting to collapse down, and I can finally get at them. The ground is still froze, so I can't actually take the bottoms out, but I can start taking the sides apart. So that's what we're going to do right now.
So here's what I got done. My mic wasn't working when I shot this, so I'm just going to do a voiceover. And I tore the sides down. The bottoms were not able to come up. A couple spots, they were thawed a little bit. And I got all the debris now that I got to pick up on the inside. There's some wood in there that is good yet that I will grab. I just stacked up the pallets because some of them are still very good. Some of them are not, and I'll get rid of them. And I think I worked on 4 different bins that I took apart. And like I said, I just stacked it up. And there's still wood in a lot of these that has to come out of there, and I'll get it out. And then eventually I'll pull up the bottom pallets once the ground thaws out, fold those up, throw out the junky ones, excuse me, and keep the good ones, and haul those away, and then rake up all the debris and take care of getting all the good wood out of there yet. So you can see what's left from my wood. And you remember, these bins were full. All of them were full. That's how much wood I moved this year, sold, delivered, and it was a lot. So I'm down to less than a quarter. It's probably a eighth of the wood that I had, because there's a bin to the right of where you're seeing right now that was completely full. There's the pallets left over, and I tore that apart last fall already because it was empty, and then I just now took apart some of these so you can see how many of the bins are emptied. And there's one up front that I tore apart already last fall too because it was empty before the ground froze, so I took that apart. But you can see there's chunks of wood in here yet that are still good, and a lot of that stuff will be just put and hauled away and put in a pile so that I can use it. This bin I took apart just the other day. You'll see that coming up in a few days. So this one is all apart, and the half of this one is disassembled and already too, and you'll see that coming up soon. Because that was all falling apart. But I didn't have time to do it that day. And then the one behind it, on the other side of the snow pusher there, that's empty, and I took that one apart the other day. You'll see that coming up real soon too. So it's that time of year, time to get stuff cleaned up.